Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Alex.
Alex, I have to tell you something that happened last night, and I'm sure it's not just me. I got home super tired after a long day, and all I wanted to do was relax and watch a movie.
Ah, the classic end-of-day ritual. Sounds perfect. What went wrong?
What went wrong was Netflix. I opened the app, and there it was, that universe of options. Movies, series, documentaries. I scrolled and scrolled and scrolled. 10, 20, 30 minutes passed. And do you know what I chose in the end?
An episode of that show you've already seen 5 times?
Exactly. I gave up and just put on the same old thing. What was supposed to be a moment of relaxation turned into a job, a source of stress. Why does this happen to us?
Your experience, Sarah, is the perfect example of what we're going to talk about today. It's called decision fatigue. And the reason is that our brains were not designed to handle the number of choices we have today. We have turned relaxation into another exhausting task.
Decision fatigue. Wow, that makes so much sense. It's not tiredness from work, it's tiredness from deciding. I'd never thought about it like that.
Exactly. Think of it like a cell phone battery. In the morning, you wake up with the battery at 100%. Every decision you make, no matter how small, uses a little bit of that energy.
What am I going to wear today? That uses a little bit. What will I eat for breakfast? That uses a little more. Which road will I take to work? There goes another piece of the battery.
That's right. The problem is that we don't have a visual indicator, a little battery bar on our foreheads going down. So we spend this precious energy on thousands of small things without realizing it. And when the evening comes, when it's time to make a choice that should be fun, like picking a movie, the battery is already at 1%.
And then the brain goes into emergency mode. It doesn't want to spend any more energy. That's why I choose the show I already know. It's the easiest path, the one that uses the least battery. Wow, that is an eye-opener.
That's exactly the mechanism. Psychologists call this paralysis by analysis. When we are presented with too many similar options, our brain gets overwhelmed. It starts to analyze the pros and cons of each one, trying to find the perfect choice.
Yes, I start thinking, what if I choose this movie and it's bad? I will have wasted my only free hour of the night. And this pressure to make the right choice is what paralyzes us.
Think of a restaurant with a 2-page menu versus another one with a 20-page menu. In the first one, you choose quickly and enjoy your meal. In the second one, you spend so much time trying to decide, afraid of choosing the wrong dish, that the experience starts off stressful.
That reminds me of a time I went to buy a simple container of yogurt at the supermarket. Alex, I swear, there was an entire wall of yogurts. Greek, plain, low-fat, with fruit, lactose-free, with grains. I stood there for about 10 minutes, just looking at all of them, and I almost left without buying anything. It's ridiculous to think about now, but at the moment, it was genuinely stressful.
It's not ridiculous. It's proof of how our modern environment is in conflict with how our brain works. The problem isn't losing 10 minutes at the market or 30 minutes on Netflix. The real cost is the impact it has on our well-being. You spent your mental energy, which could have been used for something creative or to truly relax, on a very low-value task.
And it contaminates the rest of my mood. After the yogurt saga, I was already irritated. After the Netflix saga, I went to bed frustrated. I turned a moment that was supposed to be for fun or a simple task into a source of stress.
But the good news is that there are ways to fight this. We don't have to become victims of our own choices. We can create small systems to protect ourselves.
Okay, I'm ready. I need a solution for my Netflix problem. What's the trick?
It's a simple technique we can call the 3-option rule. The next time you open a streaming app, do this. Scroll the screen for a maximum of 2 minutes. Only 2 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes. I can do that.
In those 2 minutes, your only job is to select the first 3 things that seem a little bit interesting. Don't think too much. Just pick 3. Put them on your list, or just keep the names in your head. After that, close the browsing screen.
Okay, so now my universe of 1,000 options is down to just 3. I feel relieved just imagining it.
Exactly. From that moment on, your only decision is between those 3. Read their descriptions if you need to. If you still can't decide in 1 minute, simply choose the first one on your short list of 3.
But what if the first one isn't the best of the 3?
And here is the most important part. It doesn't matter. The goal of the 3-option rule is not to guarantee that you find the perfect movie. The goal is to make a quick decision, end the paralysis, and, most importantly, protect your mental energy so you can finally relax. It's a quick victory against decision fatigue.
You know what? That makes total sense. The difference in satisfaction between the best movie and a good enough movie is very small. But the difference between watching a good enough movie and spending the night stressed out watching nothing is huge.
Precisely. You trade a small chance of perfection for a big guarantee of peace of mind.
I love it! I'm going to test this tonight. The 3-option rule. Simple, practical, and brilliant.
And think about this. If we spend so much energy and feel so bad when making a simple choice like a movie, imagine the invisible impact this same trap has on our professional lives, where the decisions are much more important.
Wow, that's true. At work, the choices have much bigger consequences. I've felt paralyzed at work many times.
The classic example is the to-do list. You arrive on Monday, motivated, and you create a list with 20, 30 items. You look at that huge list and think, this week I will be super productive.
Oh, I know this story very well. The list is beautiful, organized, full of potential. But then, when it's time to start, I just look at it and I simply don't know where to begin. Everything seems important. Everything seems urgent.
And what do most people do in that moment of paralysis? They choose the easiest and quickest task on the list, answering that simple email, making that 2-minute phone call.
Yes, because crossing an item off the list feels good, a small feeling of accomplishment. You feel like you did something.
Exactly. You get a small dose of immediate satisfaction. But what is the consequence of that? You postpone the tasks that are really important, the ones that will make a difference in your project or your career. You spend the whole day busy, running from one small task to another, but not necessarily productive.
And at the end of the day, you're exhausted. You worked all day without stopping. But when you look at your big projects, you realize you made no progress. It's a horrible feeling of being stuck.
The real cost here is the loss of focus and impact. By not being able to choose the most strategic task, you spread your energy across low-value activities. Over weeks and months, this creates chronic anxiety, the feeling of always putting out fires and never building something solid.
And we feel guilty, don't we? Even after working non-stop, we feel unproductive and lazy for not doing what was most important. It's a very cruel paradox.
The paradox is that having 20 tasks on the list gives us the illusion of control and organization, but in practice, it paralyzes us, just like the infinite Netflix catalog. The solution, again, is not to work more, but to choose better. And for that, there is also a rule.
Another rule? I love simple rules. What is it this time?
This is the 1-3-5 rule. It's a way to structure your workday to force prioritization and fight paralysis. It works like this. At the beginning of each day, you're not going to look at your list of 20 tasks. Instead, you will define only the following: 1 big task, 3 medium tasks, and 5 small tasks.
Okay. 1, 3, 5. 1 big task, 3 medium tasks, 5 small tasks. 9 tasks in total, instead of 20.
Exactly. The big task is your most important project of the day, something that requires focus and energy and that will make you feel like you really made progress. The 3 medium tasks are important things, but they take less time. And the 5 small tasks are those quick things, like answering emails or making calls, that need to be done but shouldn't dominate your day.
And how does that help in practice? I still have 9 things to do.
It helps because it limits your options and creates a clear hierarchy. You know that your number 1 priority is the big task. The system forces you to identify what is most important from the beginning of the day. You no longer fall into the trap of starting with the small, easy tasks because the system tells you to focus first on what has the most impact.
I get it. So instead of a list that paralyzes me, I have an action plan. And at the end of the day, even if I only completed the big task and one or two medium ones, I know I did what was most important. The feeling of guilt disappears.
Exactly. You ensure that the essential work gets done. You trade the illusion of doing everything for the certainty of doing what matters.
Wow, the 3-option rule for free time and the 1-3-5 rule for work. These are two very powerful tools to fight this decision fatigue. But Alex, wait a minute. I'm thinking about something now.
What is it?
Okay, we're saying that having too many options is bad and that we need to limit our choices. But isn't freedom of choice one of the most important and wonderful things we have? Is the solution really to have less freedom? It sounds a little sad, doesn't it?
That's an excellent question, Sarah. And you are absolutely right. Freedom of choice is fundamental. The point here is not to eliminate freedom, but to redefine what true freedom means.
What do you mean?
Think with me. Is the freedom to have 100 yogurt options at the supermarket really a freedom that improves your life? Or does it just consume your time and mental energy, leaving you less free to focus on other things?
Thinking about it that way, it really doesn't improve my life. It just makes me more tired.
The big idea here is not to have fewer choices, but to be intentional about which choices deserve our energy. Freedom isn't having an infinite catalog of movies, but having the energy and mental clarity to make the few decisions that really define the course of our lives, our career, our relationships, our health.
Oh, so the secret isn't to remove choice, but to separate the important choices from the unimportant choices.
Exactly. And that is the master strategy. Create systems to automate the low-impact decisions so you can save your best energy for the high-impact decisions. It's about designing your life so that the small things take care of themselves.
Automate decisions? What do you mean? Give me a practical example.
Think about why people like Steve Jobs wore the same outfit every day, the famous black turtleneck. Or why Barack Obama, when he was president, said he only wore blue or gray suits.
I always thought it was just a matter of personal style.
It was a conscious strategy. Obama once said, "I'm trying to pare down decisions. I don't want to make decisions about what I'm eating or wearing, because I have too many other decisions to make." They were saving their mental battery for the decisions that really mattered, that affected millions of people.
Wow, that puts everything into perspective. They weren't limiting their freedom. They were expanding their power to focus.
And we can apply the same principle in our own lives. We don't have to wear the same clothes every day, But we can, for example, decide what we're going to eat for breakfast during the week. Decide on Sunday, and that's it. 5 decisions eliminated from your week.
Or I could lay out my workout clothes for the whole week on Sunday. That way, in the morning, I don't even have to think. I just put them on and go. One less decision.
Perfect! Having the same meal for lunch during the work week. Creating a fixed morning routine. These are small automations that, when added up, free up a huge amount of mental energy.
So, by simplifying these small areas, we are actually buying back our ability to make big, good decisions in the areas that we really care about. It's like clearing the table so you can work on what's important.
You summarized it perfectly. The master strategy is about being the architect of your own life, consciously deciding where you will spend your attention and energy. Well, I think at the end of the day, the main message can be summarized in one sentence. True freedom isn't being able to choose everything, but having the power to focus on what really matters.
For sure. This was an amazing conversation, Alex. I feel like I've won back a little control over my own mind. Simplify daily choices to have more energy for happiness. I'm going to take that with me.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining our conversation and exploring this idea with us.
And now we want to hear from you. What is the first small decision you are going to simplify or automate in your life after listening to this episode? Will it be your breakfast choice? Your work outfit? Let us know in the comments below. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next chat. Bye!